Have you ever heard of a case so chilling that it sends shivers down your spine? Well, let me tell you about Tina Nash, a named victim of a horrifying tale. Get yourself ready for a story so gruesome that it's almost too terrifying to put into words. In a world where darkness prevails and innocence is shattered, Tina Nash's story unfolds like a nightmare, revealing the depths of human cruelty. This crime will make you question the very fabric of safety and trust. This is not just a case, it's a bone-chilling journey into the realms of fear. In 2011, in the United Kingdom, there was an incident in a small town called Hale. Hale is in the southwest of England, specifically in Cornwall, which is known for its beauty. Her two kids had different fathers, and she had separated from both of them in 2009. Before starting the story, let's go back a little back. Tina met her soon-to-be boyfriend Shane Jenkins in a nightclub. Interestingly, they had met a few years earlier, but one of Tina's friends warned her to stay away from Shane, calling him a psychopath. In assessing Shane's character, it's crucial to delve into the context of his actions. During this period, Shane faced legal trouble. He was arrested and subsequently imprisoned for a disturbing incident where he repeatedly stomped on someone's head, causing severe brain damage. Tina, being aware of this dark episode, heeded her friend's advice to keep her distance. However, in 2009, Tina encountered Shane again, noting a seemingly positive transformation. She observed a newfound maturity and charm, leading her to believe that he had changed for the better. Encouraged by this apparent growth, Tina and Shane exchanged numbers, initiating conversations that eventually blossomed into a relationship. Initially, Tina felt secure and cared for in the first few months, describing Shane as someone who made her feel safe. Unfortunately, the positive outlook did not last for a long time. After the initial honeymoon phase, Shane's true nature emerged. His behavior became increasingly violent, particularly when under the influence or provoked by Tina. He resorted to verbal abuse, hurling offensive names, and even physically spitting in her face. This change signaled a troubling shift in their connection, bringing attention to ongoing problems even though things seemed good at the beginning. In the past, the two of them used to go out to bars and clubs frequently, but on almost every outing, Shin would initiate fights with strangers. As time passed, the situation escalated, and Shin's aggression extended to Tina, even in front of her children. There was a disturbing incident where he physically attacked Tina, punching her multiple times and attempting to harm her further by pressing his thumbs into her eyes. His violent outburst was triggered when Tina discovered he had been unfaithful with one of her friends and confronted him, urging him to leave. Fortunately, Tina managed to defend herself during this specific attack, kicking Shane away and preventing further harm. Despite numerous warning signs highlighting Shane's violent tendencies, the relationship somehow persisted. After around 8 months, the violence reached a horrifying climax, and Tina was so severely beaten that she required medical attention, having to be hospitalized due to the extent of the injuries. This disturbing pattern of abuse raises serious concerns about the nature of Shane's character and the toxic dynamic within their relationship. Tina told the police about what happened, and after Shin was arrested for attacking, he convinced Tina to forgive him before going to court. Later, Tina changed her story and said her first statement was untrue. She explained that her injuries happened by accident. Tina wanted to drop the case, so the charges against Shin were dropped. After the attack, people from social services got involved, which could have been a problem for Tina's kids, according to Tina. So, Tina managed to handle the situation and keep social services away. On April 20th, 2011, in the evening, Shin and Tina had a nice day with her kids. Everything felt good. Tina saw Shin acting like he did when they first met. She wished his old aggressive ways were gone for good. At 10 p.m., Tina wanted to go to sleep in her room, but upstairs she heard Shane chatting with a neighbor in the backyard. Shane said he got a medicine called Valium to help him sleep and tried to share some with the neighbor. Worried about rules, Tina quickly went downstairs and told Shane not to give away the pills. This upset Shane, and he angrily swore at Tina. Feeling fed up, Tina went back to her room, slept, and later woke up unable to move. Wrapped tightly in her duvet, she felt someone, Shane, with large hands strangling her through it. She lost consciousness after a brief argument about the pills. In the room, Shin quietly entered, went on top of Tina, and hit her until she passed out. He wrapped her in a blanket, and when Tina woke up, she couldn't scream for help because her throat was hurt. Still wrapped up, she struggled, but Shin choked her again when he noticed she was awake. This happened a few times. On the fourth time Tina woke up, she could barely breathe. Shin was still there, and Tina, gathering strength, sat up and said, "I'm sorry, Shane. I love you." Surprisingly, this stopped Shin. He unwrapped her, but she couldn't see. Throughout the attacks, Shin never spoke, but after unwrapping Tina, he said, "Your eye is hanging out of your head. You're never going to see your kids again." Shocked, Tina touched her face and felt her eyeball hanging from her socket. That is something really pathetic. We can't even think of such a situation. Tina noticed her hand touching her swollen and bulging eye. While Tina was not awake, Shane hurt her eyes, accusing her because of some pills. Tina, thinking it was a bad dream, touched her cheek, realizing the harsh reality of her blindness. Shane insisted it was her fault, and Tina that time got worried for her children, pleaded not to harm them. Shane, persisting that Tina deserved her fate, carried her to the bathroom and put her in a cold, water-filled bath which caused intense pain. Tina begged Shane to release her and her children. Tina was scared. Shane threatened her and said she couldn't leave. She felt really sick and vomited. Despite the pain, she managed to go downstairs and heard Shane snoring on the sofa. Thinking about grabbing a hammer, she decided it was a bad idea. While wiping her nose, she discovered something shocking. She had been pulling her optic nerves and was holding them in her hands. Shin woke up at 7 a.m. after many hours. Tina had been in pain and fear for over 8 hours. When Tina admitted that it was her fault then, after begging for hours, Shin allowed Tina to call a man named Paul, her ex-partner, and the father of one of her children. When Paul heard Tina's voice, he knew something was wrong. He rushed to Tina's house, went upstairs, and found her covered in vomit with her eyes injured. Shane tried to explain that 2 women had attacked Tina. Paul checked on the children first and then brought them to Tina's room. Tina tried to hide her face from her kids, but Paul saw the severity of the situation. He immediately called an ambulance and paramedics gave Tina pain relief. After 12 tough hours, Tina was finally safe at the hospital. But Tina faced her worst nightmare when they informed her that there was no way to restore her vision. She was devastated. The police initiated a search for Shin, who had gone into hiding, sparking an investigation to uncover the details of the incident. Shin attempted to conceal evidence that would link him to the crime. Authorities discovered sheets soaked in Tina's blood at the bottom of the garden. Moreover, they found that the wooden panels beneath the bed where Tina had been sleeping were shattered. The force Shin exerted while pressing his thumbs into Tina's eyes was so intense that it caused the panels to break. Shockingly, this horrifying event unfolded while Tina was asleep, with Shin overpowering her, repeatedly striking her until she lost consciousness. He hurt Tina really badly, digging his fingers into her eyes and choking her until she passed out. Tina woke up confused and hurt with injuries to her eyes, a broken jaw, and nose. Tina recovered in the hospital and got help with her kids. During the trial, Shin's defense claimed he had mental health issues and suggested Tina was violent. They even said Shin accidentally fell on Tina during a struggle, causing her injuries. The court saw through this but didn't believe such theories and sentenced Shin to life in prison, with at least 6 years before parole. Further, Shin appealed, but it was quickly rejected. He has tried for parole several times, the latest in April 2022, but it was denied. He has to stay in prison for at least 2 more years before he can apply again. And, after the terrible attack, Tina wrote a book called Out of the Darkness: How a Person Saying "I Love You" to his partner could turn out to be this. And that's all for today.